Welcome to PTG TV. This is your host, Antonio Hicks, aka Escaping the Matrix. In this episode, I welcome my special guest and cousin, a manga artist and writer, Mr. Chris Burns. Chris has been drawing since the age of 16, which led him to attaining a BS in digital design. He is a successful freelance designer in creating company logos, animation trailers, photography, and what I'm most proud of him for is he's a published manga artist of Chikara Power of God. And I might have butchered the first part of the name, but I think it's called Chikara, I'm sorry. I wanted to bring him on to talk about a field that's not new, but we need more diversity in, and that's animation design and comic book artists. So if you don't know, I'm a huge anime nerd and manga reader. Haven't read any manga lately because of my time. And the last one I did finish was Tower of God, which if you have not read, please go check it out. It was awesome. It's freaking awesome manga. So I welcome Chris on the show to talk about what got him into art and anime, and hopefully towards the end it will inspire some of you all to pick it up as well. So welcome, Chris. Welcome, homie.
Hello.
Thank you for being on.
No problem. I appreciate you inviting me. It's always fun to talk to different creatives and see kind of how we differ, but then how we also just have a lot in common.
Right. And that's like I said, the biggest thing I wanted to bring you on for was the artwork that you do. And of course, you're a published artist. And a lot of people, like we were talking earlier before the show itself, a lot of people used to look at animation and people reading comic books as nerds. But now, you know, it's the hottest thing on the market right now because a lot of the rap artists and people in the hip hop industry and pop culture are now having animation style videos. They're talking about, they're featuring some of the favorite animes in their songs. So now it's become real popular. Mm-hmm. So, you know, starting off, let's tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I gave you the introduction, but just tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, hi guys. My name is Chris Burns. I'm the artist and creator of Chikara Power of God, and I'm also a just freelance graphic designer for multiple different companies and creatives. So yeah, I started doing art. Tony said 16, that was when I officially started getting into the creative, industry for doing logos. I worked on a book called How to Comics and Manga by Randy Bosner. At 16, I was the artist for his book, and that was my first official publication, where you can find that in libraries and I think school systems, or it's rotating somewhere. But I got into anime and manga at a very young age. I got into anime probably when I was about 5 or 6, because back then Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Naruto, that was all, you know, popular and flooding the Cartoon Network, you know, all those old channels, Toonami. That was the thing. If you knew what it was late at night, coming on after Adult Swim, if you knew what it was, you were staying up past your bedtime watching it. And that really got me into, I guess, that field of cartoons and stuff, because back then when I was little, I thought it was just American stuff. I had no idea it came from Japan until I got a little older, and then I was just like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I got into manga probably when I was about 14. That's when I really started reading. I read Naruto from scratch, read it all the way to the end. And I was just like this, because originally I wanted to be a comic book artist for Archie and do Sonic the Hedgehog. I wanted to be a Sonic comic artist. Mm-hmm. And that switched when I was at 14, because I was like, I feel like I could do manga, and I feel like I could do it well since I know the fundamentals of comics. And now I just have to switch to how the Japanese view fundamentals of comics, and that's technically where it all began.
Yeah, so that was gonna be one of my questions. Why? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tamika.
That sounds awesome. My question to you before we go into your question, Antonio, and really talk more about your creative side, I would like to know what's some of the barriers that you find as you are in this space. It is so unheard of to many African Americans, and especially you being an African American male. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when you start talking about, hey, I want to be a creative, I'm going to do logos, and I'm going to be a cartoon artist, or I'm going to get into this anime. What are some of the barriers that you find that's been kind of hard for other people to see it as a real career, job, or business?
Some of the biggest, just overall, I guess, barriers that I've had to go through personally had just come from not necessarily, I guess, me and working and how I do stuff, because I love figuring stuff out. That's the main thing has been, I guess, just over the past, I want to say 9 to 10 years has just been a societal thing, because it's always been pushed, even just by my dad, you got to play sports. You got to play sports. You know, you get you playing football, get you playing basketball. You know, something involving with sports. And you know, my whole life that was like what I thought I had to do. Like I love golf. Me and my dad love golf. So he was just like, you know, we'll get you playing golf. You know, be the next Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
The next Tiger Woods. And like, and that was cool. But then like I wanted to be like, because I do art and music as well. So it's like I was more more in tune with that creative side, just because I mean, Tony knows from family history just how music is just so entwined in the Hicks side of the family. So it's just like I've always been more in tune with just creativity rather than physical stuff. And the fact that I'm only like 5'7" and 120 pounds, I don't think I should be playing football.
No, you will get hurt.
And even basketball, like I never just, and that always was something that like it just irritated me how like wherever I went, like people would ask like, you know, like, oh, you know, like you must play basketball, you skinny, like, and I'm just like, no, like it's like, can I not be anything else? Like
right
basketball player or a sports player? Is like, no, like, so that was also like my main, it was a barrier in a sense mentally, because I could have like succumbed to that and been like, you know, maybe I should just play basketball, you know, get a scholarship or whatever. But then I was also, it pushed me, because it was like, you know, like I don't want people to see me as like that stereotype anymore. So it always pushed me to like do other stuff and to get more like out there, and like so that way people could see that, you know, there's other stuff for people to do, especially minorities and as a black male, that you can do other than sports or you know any of the stereotypical things. You can do literally whatever you want,
especially if you have talent.
Yes,
especially if you have talent, because we get the, like we were talking about being picked on because you like anime and art and design. I'm like, you to succumb to that and give in to the pressure of, oh, I need to go be an engineer, or just go get a job, because Alex and I talked about this the other night, get a job just to go work and to pay bills. And I'm like, but you're not fulfilling a promise and the gift that was given to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're giving into stereotypes and you're giving into the peer pressure of not only your community, but your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for individualism. Do what you want to do. And that's what we're supposed to do as parents. And we're supposed to push people forward to be themselves and work towards the dream that you have. And then you get paid off of what you're aspiring to do. As opposed to the traditional thing of what Tamika and I was taught: go to school, get a good job, and go to work, but never clearly defining what does that mean. Like what does that mean? Oh, you just want me to go get an education in a field that pays a lot of money, but what if I don't like doing that? I mean, what if I'm just not happy doing it at all? I'm just going to exist and live off of somebody else's dream of what they think I should be doing, as opposed to what I want to do. Go ahead, Tamika.
But it's the fear of the unknown, right?
Right.
So when you don't know anyone else that's doing it, you haven't seen anybody else that's been able to achieve or accomplish it, then sometimes it just sounds like, what is this kid? Remember, you're young, you're 16, 17. What do you even know about life? What do you even know about this new phenom that you're trying to invite everyone else into this world that you've kind of been in and you've been exploring? Because when you start talking about age and you're like, I've been looking at this for 10 to 14 years, you're like, okay, you're 22. So you've really been doing this since you was 10 years old. Kind of like me in the beauty industry, right? I always say, do you want my real credentials or do you want my bootleg license? Because I've been doing hair on my dolls since I was 6, 7, and 8 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once I learned the skill, now if you look at me, it's like, you're 44. You've been doing hair how long? 24, probably 30 years, right? 35. So when you, and that was something, I went to college. I even went to beauty school and I didn't tell anyone that I was going, because I didn't want anyone to talk me out of it, because I already had a degree. So how is this little girl from small Macon, Georgia, is gonna have a college degree in communications, and now you're gonna do someone's hair? It was just like the same thing. That's why I asked you that question, because I understand what that pressure and those barriers are like. So kudos to you for believing in yourself first and pushing through the unknown to explore and to find a way to definitely make a career path and to inspire other young minorities to achieve. So that's what I have to say about that.